So that's done, in that little tiny spot. So now let's see if I don't screw this up. So, it's shiny. And it's okay. See, the thing, this is one of those kits that if you do the wash, I mean, you could do the whole thing, and this is a good thing for like Q-tips.
Right.
Because when you put the wash on, since it's ingrained, just go this direction.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a wood deck, so you
Yeah,
want to try to
and
get
then
in all
you
the
could do
lines.
a lot of variations.
Yeah.
You could do dust. You could do different colors and bring out different variations in whatever you're doing. So, sorry if this is out of the way because I have to.
No, I didn't.
Sorry.
None of the pictures I saw.
That's all of it.
Now, my understanding of washes was you put them on and then you go back to take them off. You're just blending them.
Well, he's
I'm
doing
a-
a pin wash and not,
I do things differently than other people do. I do more like what armor guys do with their washes. I like to blend. So you start building highlights and shadows on things. So it like plays little tricks with your eyes. But that also a lot of that goes into how you airbrush a model or how you paint it. Because if you look at this, I did a graduation in paint, so it's like darker color towards the bottom because I just wanted to play with shadows. I did it with this. I didn't do this with this. The tan, if you notice, it's darker in certain places, lighter in others because I did it gradual. But the green is just base. So, but and again, this is one of those things that you can't be done with it in 5 minutes. It's going to take hours upon hours to do. And so put a good movie on or a game on or listen to music, whatever the deal is, and do your own thing because that's exactly what's going to happen. You know, it's tedious, but whenever you get done with whatever you get done with, you're one, other people are going to like it, and two, you're going to like it, you know, because it's a good way to learn how to do things. Sorry that I'm like way over here, but
Wouldn't it be easier just to put it in the washing machine?
yeah, you could do that.
Blends good.
Yeah.
And another thing to do is like,
ungentle cycle.
wipe your brush off because there's always going to be stuff. So all you're doing is sticking your brush in with thinner and paint and whatever the deal is, and you're going back through it again.
Just put it outside and let it dusty.
Drag it behind the car.
That's when you want to show damage to it.
Yeah. That's your chipping.
And another thing is like, I dry brush and I use all kinds of different colors of dry brush. So what you do is when you flat coat this, right, and you get like a good, like Naples yellow would be perfect for this, or like a gray, like a warm gray, and you
Right.
dry brush over it and it blends in all the things, and you go back through with a pen wash and you get it, I mean, just barely get the corners, and it looks freaking cool. So,
Now, will you go back and forth between the dry brush and the
yes,
washes?
yes, I will, I dry brush this with Naples yellow just a little bit. You can see it, especially on that right here. And then on this thing I did. And then I did it a little bit. You can see right here where the bolts are raised, where I went. But that's, again, this is two separate things. I dry brushed on this, and I dry brushed on this, but I had a darker wash over the browner wash. So,
Do you have a plan, or you just go by how you feel?
how I feel. I mean, my biggest thing is when I do it, it always comes down to research. I look at pictures, and then I build it from there. I'm like, okay, how can I do this? Or if I'm kind of stumped on something, I mean, Facebook. You know, you see all the pictures of people's models in there, and you find something you like, and like, that's pretty cool. It doesn't mean you have to copy their thing, but you can learn from them, and you can ask them questions, because almost everybody on there will give you all the information you need. And then you can say, hey, how did you do this? And they'll tell you. So, again, it's just one of those things where it's,
There's a lot of YouTube videos that are pretty decent too.
Yeah.
the only person stopping anybody from doing this is yourself. I mean, the biggest thing is like how far I've come in the last like 10 years. I mean, compared to now, it's like I've come a long way. Why? Because I've always had people that definitely built a lot better than me, painted a lot better than me, and you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to take criticism, not mean criticism, you know, constructive, figure out like, hey, I could do this or I can't do this. And if you can't do something, but at least try. That's the biggest thing, and anybody have a tooth, or anybody have a, never mind, I think I got it.
Take a picture of that? Or you want me to send you a copy? Okay. So what's the wider brush for?
I'm just picking up some of the stuff on there.
Okay.
Just, but I mean, it looks like nothing. There it goes. It looks like nothing right now, but again, it's a step in finishing something.
So that's one layer, and then
It's
you would
one
put
layer.
more layers
So
on.
I would do that, but I do the whole flipping thing, right? And then I'll go back through and be like, hey, it needs dust. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of dust so you can see on one of your spot. Yeah, I mean, you could easily get rid of this. If you have thinner, you can just go home and put a Q-tip, clean it off. So it's not gonna be like a big gigantic, like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that to my mom.
Yeah, get it back to the museum, pristine quality of the chair.
So, and this might show a better deal of what I'm trying to do.
There's never any weathering on anything, especially when you put it in a contest.
I'm trying to think of a good spot where, okay, this is
That's
perfect.
pretty good, yeah.
So again, all you're doing is drawing on it. Just like, when you're a kid, you'll stay between the lines. All you're doing is going around things. I'm not doing like just out of nowhere in the middle of something. It has to be where, shadows are like, dust. Dust goes into corners and crevices. That's how dust works. And if you look at color pictures of PT boats in the Pacific, they had dust on them. Why? Because they're on islands, and on their bases, what drives by the PT boats on dock, trucks. What's on the ground, sand and coral. So you're gonna get a mixture of that everywhere. So, and again, I should wait probably another 10-15 minutes, but I'll see what I can do with this. And all I'm doing is blending it in. That's so it doesn't have like such a sharp.
You're drawing out away from it, Will?
Yeah, you're just.
So it
you're-
doesn't have a real sharp delineation.
Yeah, you
is
don't.
that what
I
you're
mean, it's
saying?
okay
Yeah.
with the sharpness if it's like in a 90-degree in that
Right,
corner. 'Cause,
right.
again, it falls into. I mean, you could go outside right now and there's gonna be something that has dust or dirt in the corner. Okay.
Yeah. Is that the one down in Portland? I think that's the one down in Portland. They offer rides.
They have one of those down in Portland that they give rides on? Really?
Yeah.
I think I need to go down and order it.
The guy was the
Okay.
dulcet on the B-17 in McMinnville. He also works on a PT boat. He gave me his card and everything. And he says, yeah, it's like $125 for an hour ride or something.
So
like
that's
An hour.
all I
that. Yeah,
did.
something like that.
Wow.
So I drew that line and I blended it in.
I wonder if I get to pull them
So
towards
that's in a nutshell. I'm trying to do dust. I'm trying to replicate dust. And now when you have all the washes and stuff like that, you tend to put that over the top. So one of your final things you're going to do is dust. So it's kind of far-fetched on this because, I mean, the whole model's not, weathered. But we can do that. Every once a month, every Thursday, build night, we can work our butts off on this. And I think it'd be fun. I mean, it's cool on models like this because it could bring out detail and accentuate things. So my last little bit of thing, I'm sorry this is taking forever. I'm gonna do what I did on the top of the turret on this thing. If I could take this thing off. So I'm gonna use Kirk Summers. Now this, I'm not doing the dark washes on this yet. I'm gonna do it in areas. I'm gonna build up the detail as I go. So, and on, I hate these lids. Now, if you notice on this, I've already gone in here and I've already done it here, so I'm gonna do it along this edge. So you get a little bit of detail where I did some washes. It's just grimy dirt, so. Let's. And that's all I'm doing. I'm gonna do there and I'm gonna do. Just gonna do crevice. Because it's like anything, you know, like one thing I like about tanks doing this is because they all have crevices and they drive through dirt. I mean, there's some really good sets for this for aircraft that match whatever color schemes. So you can get a really good depth perception on things. Jamie Hago and Spencer Pollard. I don't know if Spencer Pollard uses this technique, but I know he does washes and stuff, and stuff is beautiful. Jamie Hago does a lot of realistic aircraft, and he uses the AK stuff, and he does all the blending on it. And it's really cool stuff. I mean, he has a picture online, if you're on my wall, he did a MiG-21, and it just looks really cool how he did it. So, yeah, there's a lot of motivation out there, you know, if you want to look at stuff. And as you can tell, this stuff stinks. So, but yeah, so I'm going to go through, and I'm going to do the same thing I did here. And this takes a little bit longer because it's just more of a, like I was doing last night when we were building models. It's see, it's blending better. Again, this is all I've done so far is a general overwash of that wash, OIF, OEF wash, and I'm doing a mud thing. And then I'll go back through in certain areas and I'll do a darker wash just to bring out shadows and stuff like that. And then I'll go back through and do scratches, and then, as you know, I'll do like dust and stuff like that just to build it up. And then I got to add all the dirt and stuff to the tracks, because I'm glad I got color pictures of this, because for some reason they're kind of hard to find. But that's the good thing about today is, you know, if you have issues with anything or how anything looks, just go online, you know, ask questions or look at pictures. I mean, there's plenty of pictures out there that you could figure, plenty of people that are really good model builders that will help you out. So.
Now, when you do the different levels, do you protect the first level with the?
I always, whenever I'm finished painting a model, you always protect that layer, always. So whether it's future or a flat coat, or what, you always want to do that, because you will just either your washes won't work right, or you'll eat through the paint. There's always something that'll go wrong. It will go wrong. It's just the way it is.
So each
Well,
level, like wash it, and then the wash is, if you're satisfied, then you seal it, right?
Yeah. In fact, when I get done doing the mud thing, I'm gonna flat coat this, and then go back through it again and bring out detail. I might flat coat it again and then do a little bit of dry brushing with Naples yellow, just in certain areas, not everywhere, but like more like wear and tears on a vehicle, and then go back through and do a wash over the dry brushing in certain areas, because that brings out a lot of cool detail too.
And when you flat coat though, if you put too many flat coats, doesn't it fill up a lot of the?
No, because you're
detailing
doing
ones?
super light coats.
Super light, okay,
I mean, as soon as you airbrush it, right? As soon as it hits it, it goes flat. Don't go back over it again.
okay.
You know, now don't do that with airplanes or cars, because it's more of a finessing, and of course there are 48 scale small, 32nd scale. I think you might be able to get with it. I'm not an expert on airplane models. I'd love to build, you know, a good Corsair from World War II that was on a Pacific Islands. It gets all beat up, but you know, that's just the way it is. So this is. And this, like I said, this is a future coat. So this stuff, until I spray it, is gonna dry. So on the back, there's a couple little areas that I needed to clean up a little bit. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get it going. You want to do it the way you want to do it. So, you know, you could get all the advice you want, but I mean, again, I could say this a million times over. It's whatever you're comfortable with, or whatever you want to try to do. Just have fun with whatever you want to do. But if you're going to sit there and go out and put yourself on a limb and say, what do you think of this? Don't be offended if somebody says, hey, you did this right or did this wrong. You know, it's kind of pointless. You know, don't be an asshole. That's the biggest thing. You know, nobody likes ask-holes. You know what an ask-hole is? Somebody asks a question, you give them an answer, and they ignore you. So,
They get pissed at you.
yeah, like they get offended. So don't get offended. I mean, this is a model building. We're not. Okay, I did build a model for a museum, so I could say that. But we're not building. No, I could. You know, you're building for yourself. 99% of us build for ourselves. You know, and it's just a hobby. So enjoy it. But you know, but again, like the perfect example of this is I'm gonna go back over this with an airbrush and then do some more washes. And this is a spot that bothered me last night. I don't know if I could clean it up a little bit. But let's see if I can try. So,
Looked better the picture last night.
yeah, it's one of those things where no, I'm gonna dry too much. And another thing you can do with this is like, since I'm doing dirt, stuff like that, and one thing I did here and I did right here is like, you know when it rains, rain always pours off something, right? Correct? And that's how water works. Whatever dirt's in there, whatever dust can be there, it's gonna come out with it. And you look at vehicles, there's always rain marks. That's what they call them, rain marks. And I try to do this a little bit of streaking, just a tiny bit in certain areas, just to bring out detail on things. So, but so, and that is that. That's my thing. Anybody have any questions on anything?
So how high do you get doing this?
Huh?
How high do you get doing
I
this?
get headaches, man. I'm like, woo. Then I have a 55-inch TV, so I'm like, you know, put Harry Potter on or Star Wars, which I did this last week, almost killed me.
Pretty lights.
So, but yeah, you know what? Again, like I said, I like looking at pictures and trying to replicate what a picture is, and it's led me in a good direction towards other guys who do the same thing, and they're freaking amazing, and they, you know, and the cool thing about it is all these guys you see in books and magazines, some of them are some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in your life. If you friend them on Facebook, and they'll talk to you and they'll explain how they did something, or they'll put pictures on, and you'll see guys that do stuff for museums, and you're just like, man, I go, there's no way I could be like him. And then you ask him a question, he's all like, dude, I'll show you how to do this, is easy. And you're like, what? No way. You know, so again, have fun, enjoy it, and hopefully, you know, you got something out of this, and that's that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.